Hello, today on the Bye Wanxiety podcast, we have the lovely Heather, who is a health coach here in New York. And actually, you started a completely different way, your career, right? But I will let you take it away.
Okay, yeah. So I've been in New York for 6 years. And actually, when I moved here, I didn't have a job. Health coaching wasn't even on my radar. Um, and the third week I was living here, I did one single interview, got the job offer from
That's
that one
amazing.
interview. Yes, I was so like, thank God, because I, again, just kind of came here on a whim, didn't have much of a savings. I'm like, I just need a job, just finished college. And yeah, I got hired from that first interview. And then I worked with that company for almost 6 years. And I started as a receptionist with that company and then worked my way up to an executive assistant. So I did about 3 years of the reception work and then 3 years of the executive assistant work. But yeah, that was my first corporate job and my last corporate job.
So, what made you decide to quit? What led to that?
Yeah, so something that I really liked about having a corporate job was it was the first time in my life that I had like a steady income. I had worked in the restaurant industry for all of my jobs. Like since I was 17, I was a server, and that you make what you put into that job, right? And so when I got a salary job, I was like, this is so cool. Like I have just a set income. Like it felt like very stable and very safe. And that wasn't something I was used to. So I really did like it for that fact. And the people I worked with were wonderful. I feel very fortunate that the people at that job I really vibed with. I met some really good friends through that job. But I've always been like a very creative person. I've always had passions throughout my life. And while I was working this job, I'd gone to school for theater and journalism. So I was really into writing, and I was doing some copywriting on the side while I was working at this job. But also, this whole time, and for most of my life, I was always dealing with health issues. Primarily, I had terrible like sleep attacks. If you're familiar with like
No, what are those?
narcolepsy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know too much about it, but I've heard from some other people.
Yeah, I was never actually diagnosed with narcolepsy just because I never went through like with the sleep study and paying all that money to get a sleep study done. But I would just fall asleep like in the middle of conversations. I would fall asleep at parties. I would have to pull over when driving because I couldn't drive a car, and I would have to take a nap in a Walgreens parking lot.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, so that was like one of my major things. I also had like a lot of mood issues, and I had a lot of physical symptoms as well, like skin rashes. I got to a point where my eyelashes would fall out in bulk. Um, so I, and this all started when I was in middle school, mind you, and continued into my adult life, into my 20s. So while I'm working this corporate job, I'm still dealing with these health issues, right? And long story short, through my own exploration, I was able to find help to overcome those and reverse those symptoms naturally. And I didn't think that was possible for a really long time. And so when I was able to do that for myself, it was really inspiring to me. And I honestly was like, other people have to like know about this.
Yeah.
Like we're constantly told it's our genetics. We're told there's nothing we can do about it. We're told this is what happens with old age. And mind you, I was in my early 20s, late teens. Like I was too young to have these health issues. And so when I was able again to reverse those, I was just like, I gotta teach others this stuff. So while I was at my corporate job, I stopped doing the part-time copywriting I was doing outside of it. And then I enrolled in the IHP Institute to get my certification as a health coach. And eventually that's what led me to leaving my corporate job and venturing out into that world.
That's awesome. So how has it been like since, and how, now you're self-employed?
Yeah.
How is that?
Right. So still very new. I just left my corporate job back in April, like the very beginning of April. So it's only been a few months. And I'm still like in that transition phase and still trying to get my footing and really get a good flow going, because it's one thing from working in that environment and having like set hours. You have basically like a set to-do list every single day, and it's more so just like checking things off the box or checking things off the list, excuse me. Whereas like now I work for myself, I'm have to depend on myself and like my drive and my own focus to make progress and to make my own income now, because I'm not relying on someone else for a paycheck. Like, it's all on me.
Yeah.
So and to be honest, when I left my corporate job, I wasn't planning on leaving at that time. I still was thinking about giving myself some more time to build up my business, but it honestly just got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I know like I need to make this jump and like take this risk, even if I'm not fully prepared for it. I just got to do it. And so that's kind of where I am right now with it.
You did it.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you just have to take that leap.
Yeah.
You never know. And I feel like you also get signs, right? That like you're like supposed to like just do it.
Yeah. Signs, gut feelings. Because I had been doing it on the side, like part-time for a while. But it's a lot to be working a 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever. And then you go home and it's like, oh, you're not just like chilling out watching TV. Like, you're building towards something, you know.
Yeah.
And so you just are like, man, like I just want to chill for a second.
So I'm assuming, I'm guessing that comes with like a lot of like anxiety, career anxiety, like I guess like what to do next, how do I approach this, how do you balance that out, like how do you manage that?
Right. So me personally, I trend more towards overwhelm and like shutting down versus like anxious emotions, if that makes sense. Yeah. So at times when it feels like so overwhelming and it seems like a lot, I tend to shut down and kind of just like mute, like flatline my emotions. That's how I typically handle the stress. Now, with that being said, as a health coach, there are like tools and ways I am like able to work with my nervous system to combat that and help with that. So that's also been really cool, because it's kind of like putting myself to the test with my own health. And it's like, okay, now you're dealing with, these stressors that you help other people deal with. Now let's see you put your money where your mouth is and practice these things for yourself, right? And that's like such a reverse Uno move, I think, because it's easy to like coach somebody and to lead them into healthier habits and changes, but to like implement that yourself, it's like doable, of course, but it's such a different ball game, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's a whole different change, right? And also, you have to, how do you say it? Like, I don't know the word, my brain's not working today. But you have to put to the test basically like what you're learning, right? Because you want to see that it actually works. So you mentioned you had like skin rashes, and panic attacks, and your lashes were falling out. Was there anything else with that too? Like,
yeah, so another thing, besides my crazy sleep attacks, mood issues like depression, crazy prominent for so long. I also, one of my very first symptoms was acne. I started getting acne when I was in just the 7th grade. I remember it was like very specifically like my forehead. I would wear makeup just on my forehead to cover my acne in middle school. And I was like, why do none of these other kids have this problem? And then as I got older, it just got worse. Like high school, I remember my sophomore year, my skin just exploded. And for the rest of high school, I just had crazy cystic painful acne. It was on my face, it was on my chest, it was on my back. Like, it was gnarly. But again, that was just another way of my body trying to tell me, like, hey, something's really wrong. Like, you're in a state of fight or flight. We can't handle this. I ended up going on birth control when I turned 18 because I didn't know there was another way. People had been telling me, like, go on birth control. There's a specific type of birth control for acne. It will fix you. And I was like, great. For dealing with acne since I was in 7th grade into like 18 years old, like, you'll do anything.
Yeah.
So I went on birth control, and I was on birth control for 8 years. And it did clear my skin, like, completely. I didn't have any issues with breakouts. And I even, like, got, like, some facial, like, microblading done to get rid of my scarring. The thing with birth control is it's a Band-Aid solution. So sure, the skin may be cleared up, but it's causing a little havoc on the inside. So coming off birth control, I tried to do it twice and I could not do it because I had the most insane mood swings I've ever had. And my face just started breaking out crazily because, again, it's a Band-Aid solution.
Yeah.
So
I would have never thought that you had acne because you have the most amazing clear skin. I was like, I need to know what she's taking, what she's doing, what products she's using, because I need that. Like,
truly, thank you.
no, your skin like looks amazing. You're like glowing. Like, I'm jealous.
Thank you.
That's insane. What has been like your favorite moment during this journey right now?
Do you mean the journey since leaving my job?
Yeah. Or just in general, like even like from when you decided that you wanted to start learning more about this field, right?
Yeah. What's been one of oh gosh, there's been so much. I think one of the most exciting but also challenging parts is that I'm still continuing to learn as I go, not with just like being a coach, but also with my own health personally. Like, I have overcome so much, but that doesn't mean like stuff health-wise still isn't going to happen. And that actually did happen. Me and my boyfriend ended up getting mold in our apartment and dealing with mold toxicity in the middle of all of this. And that's something I've never dealt with before. So it's fun in a sense to take on that new challenge and to be presented with a new set of like symptoms in a way where it's like, okay, I have the tools to overcome this and like test different things out. But at the same time, it is also like kind of stressful. It's like so many different things, if that makes sense. And I've also really enjoyed learning what it is to run a business, because I became a health coach because I just wanted to share what I had learned with others and to help other women. Because for so long, I didn't have any answers and I didn't think there was another way. And I was gladly proven wrong. So I'm like, okay, like I want to go share this. But when I first started enrolled and went through my certifications, I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm going to be a business owner. Like, oh, I'm going to be a CEO. Like, that wasn't even a thought in my mind. And now when I finish my certifications, I'm like, okay, now how do I do this? It's like, oh, this is a business. And that's like been such another learning curve aside from health coaching in itself. And it's fun, it's challenging, it can be overwhelming, it can be stressful. But I think that's like the point of life. And, I really believe in like we're always supposed to be growing and evolving. Yes. And sure, it's comfortable to stay stagnant and to stay in the familiar, but what fun is that in the long run?
It's not fun at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I really love like that you took like what you had, like health issues, and really took control of that, because so many people struggle with, like, they struggle in silence, a lot of people, first of all.
Yeah.
And I do think that also a lot of the times, like, I feel like I've gone to the doctor here and they just don't have an answer for you, like for the simplest things, even to do with things like anxiety, like rashes, just in general, like sleep, like you said, like sleep apnea, like and it's really great that you were actually, like, you were able to solve this yourself and help yourself, and now that you're able to do that, now you can help others, right? It's so much more satisfying as well for you,
right?
So for anyone that's like not just wanting to learn to be a health coach, but in general, for anyone that's looking to start something new and take that leap like you did, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is, like, always stay curious. There's so much out there that you can make a career out of aside from like a corporate job. Second is do it scared. It's always going to be scary to step outside your comfort zone. It's always going to be stressful too. I mean, not always, but it is stressful. It is scary to take a risk, take a leap of faith, and dive into the what ifs, but just trust that it's all going to work out. I think a lot of the time we tend to think more so in the negative. And again, that's just our mind wanting to keep us safe. And really working on that subconscious programming and those like limiting beliefs that, like, no, everything's going to work out. Everything's going to be fine. I'm not going to fail. I mean, if I do fail, then I just pivot, right? And again, I think that's a big part of life, is learning and growing and adapting and evolving. And yeah, again, there's just so much out there, and whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're curious about, I guarantee there's a job out there for your passions and for what you really love. So really getting curious and exploring that and seeing what's out there, especially now, like in the world we live in, there's so many things are online, right? I mean, so many jobs you can do from the comfort of your own home. You don't always have to like go into an office, which I feel like just expands the opportunities tenfold.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Yeah.
So many remote jobs now. So I want to learn like a little bit more like what your day is like now, like your typical day as a health coach. And like I want to touch as well on some of the issues that you help clients with, so so other people can learn about you. What you can help with.
Sure. So my day-to-day look very different. Usually I have like a master task list, if you will, of things that need to get done, and then I rearrange that task list based on highest priority. So I do so many different things. I have a newsletter that goes out every Friday to connect with my community. I do content creation, so I'm always posting on social media, specifically Instagram, working with clients. I work with clients in a 4-month container, but they have access to me 24/7, so they can message me. Yeah, because I really think it's important to like stay on the ball so you can help people as much as possible, and questions inevitably pop up. And that's also like a downfall with like going to like the doctor, if you will, because you go in for like an appointment, and if you have like any questions, like I just think it's really important to have that constant communication line open. Excuse me. And then I meet with them on a bi-weekly basis, virtually on a Zoom. So sometimes I'm prepping for client appointments. I also do functional medicine lab work. So I'll go over their lab tests and create personalized plans based on their lab tests and their personal health history. So some days it's prepping for client appointments, writing the newsletter, admin work too, whether that's like tracking business expenses and prepping things for my accountant. Let's see what else I'm trying to pull everything from out of my list. I do collaborations with other brands as well. So another big thing I talk about is non-toxic products and the importance that is for our health as well.
Yeah,
so
very much.
Yeah, and health is like so holistic. It's not just exercise, it's not just like a good diet. Like there are so many things that go into health. So that's another thing that I do that I really love is I collaborate with other brands and do things like giveaways or make content promoting their product, or just, you know, creating and fostering those relationships. I really, really love that. Answering emails, again, like more admin work. But honestly, I feel like the content creation takes up the majority of my time.
Oh, yeah.
As you know.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Like, honestly, editing videos, I have nightmares about it.
Yep.
But you know, like you do the
Yep.
same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things that you can help clients with, like overall?
Right. So I specifically work with, this is more so my ideal client, is millennial women who are dealing with that 24/7 tiredness. They have like those sleepy girl tendencies where they can't stay awake. They have really low energy and they're just always falling asleep everywhere. And they feel like kind of like a shell of themselves, and they don't really remember what it's like to feel normal, if you say. And it's so hard to, you know, live your life, even like get things done, and even just like partake in life. Because when you have these health issues and you can't rely on yourself, you can't rely on your body, you can't trust your body to show up for you, it takes a toll on your mental health as well. Sure, your physical health is, you know, you have those physical symptoms, but also depression is very common, anxiety is very common, because you just like don't know what's going on. And a lot of people think that their body is betraying them, right? And I thought my body was betraying me for so long, but really it's your body's way of communicating with you that there's something going on and it's just asking for your help. So that's really my ideal client, if you will. Sure, they may have some other health issues, some symptoms as well. Painful periods are a big one. What else? Gut issues definitely help a lot of people with gut issues. That was part of my internal imbalances. It was like yeast overgrowth, bacteria overgrowth. And the testing you get done in, say, from a conventional medicine doctor, it's not always the most accurate data. It's not always the best sample source. That's why I really like functional medicine lab testing, is because I'm able to see more accurate samples of what's going on in your gut, what's going on with your mineral levels, what's going on. Maybe there's like a mold component here. So really seeing those toxicities within the body and those imbalances and bringing everything back to a state of homeostasis. So I don't know if I just rambled.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I know I have gut issues, honestly. My stomach hurts like every single day.
Yeah.
Lately it's been a bit better, but I definitely fall into that boat. And I know a lot of other people as well, same thing, like stomach always hurting.
Yep.
And with the mold thing, like I've heard so many stories, because you know in New York you just never know, like with these landlords, like you just never know. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy you're doing all of this and helping others. So I guess as one final question, what's the one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
First I would give her a hug, honestly, because she would have really needed that and loved that. My advice to her would be to just keep the faith that things are going to get better and that she will find her way, and that she does find her way. Because just for so long I was like very lost and really hopeless, and didn't have really much of a support system to express myself and to confide in. So really, that piece of advice would be to keep the faith, and that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
I'm sad to hear you didn't have support system. It's so important.
Yeah, it is. You know, too, it's kind of like a catch-22. I think it also can make people really strong and really self-sufficient and really independent, sometimes to a fault. But you really just, you grow up really fast and you figure it out because you don't really have a choice. But I'm like, and then you find your people, you find your support system. Some people aren't always fortunate to have that in their childhood, but I think that's another beautiful thing about life is as you grow up, you find that elsewhere and create that support system for yourself, which I have done, and my younger self wouldn't believe where I am today. So, yeah.
I love to hear that. Well, thank you so much for doing this. And then, everybody follow, subscribe to Heather's newsletter. I will tag you on Instagram so clients can find you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.